All right, we're on to our finalists, top 5 photographers of the year. One of my favorite categories, because I feel like, at least for me personally, I chase a lot, and so I get to kind of see a lot of storms. And I feel like, the other categories that we have and came up with were obvious, where this one I felt like was more of a portfolio one that really showcases, I guess, the work and effort it takes to have like an amazing year photographing storms. Because it's really, Dennis knows this, and Jennifer, I think you didn't have as much time to chase this year. When you don't have as much time, it's really hard to get a ton of good shots, and it takes this kind of effort. And that's why I feel like this was one of my favorite categories, because it rewards that incredible hard work. And here's our first one that we'll look at. And we don't have to talk about every image, but we could talk about everything as a whole if we want. And if you want to bring out a specific image, that's totally fine. But this one really showcases that, where it's just a variety of desert kind of things, and lightning, and tornadoes, and structure, and rainbow. Like, there's really good variety all over the place. And it just kind of showcases the work it takes to put something like this together. Because again, this award is for the year. So these are, some people that are just trying their best to start out would look at this and go, I would be happy if I got that in 5 years.
Yeah.
And so the ability to get something like this in 1 year takes like so much effort. So kudos to this photographer. I love the variety and the lightning, and the patience that some of these images must have taken.
There's a clear voice here. There's a lot of impact. I appreciate a lot of things about this portfolio. And yeah, as we go through the top 5, I mean, consider that as 1 year's worth of images. Really, to echo what Mike is saying, this is a really, really successful year. So congratulations to this image maker.
All right, here's our next one. Dennis, any thoughts about this one?
I like the variety in here too, because we have golden mammatus, sunsets, mothership, supercells, tornadoes, lightning, and you can see in every image, even if they are so different, that these must be from the same photographer, because the style seems to be very consistent here. And I appreciate it very much. And now in this view, you can see the photographer tried to different crops to get a bit of variety, composition style, and they are not overdone. They seem like very natural looking, and that's what's I appreciate this very, very much. So overall, here too, if I can see something like this in 10 years, I would be happy. So yeah, must be an amazing year with lots of different great storms and moments. Yeah.
Well, you were talking about how this photo, which we've discussed in other videos, is got structure in a tornado. And then there's a tornado in this one, in epic structure at night. So this photographer obviously had a pretty...
I think I have seen this one before somewhere on social media, and I remember it was very early in the last season. Yeah. And I was sitting in Germany and I thought, not yet. Wait.
Yeah, I think it was April. It looks like it says April 26th. And I think I didn't get out until May 1st. I wanted to wait. And I was like, no, not now. It's only like 5 days away.
Exactly.
Oh, man.
But yeah, I like the consistency in this style.
Yep. Jennifer, any thoughts on this one?
Oh, yeah. This portfolio really did end up becoming one of my favorites. And I think a lot of that has to do with the post-processing approach and the just the technical. Like the technical is pretty spot on in a lot of these. So, but wow, the colors and the variety. Clearly, this photographer gives thought to their foreground and their composition, and also different crops. I really appreciate 8 is basically almost a square, like just thinking about how to take their viewer and immerse them in the scene in a different way. And I really appreciate that very much.
Yeah.
The colors, like
Yeah.
being committed to a color palette per image, I feel like they really take that and run with it. Whereas, you know, maybe for example, the photographer prior, things are a little bit more muted universally and maybe more neutralized throughout the portfolio. Whereas this one, you know, there was a very green scene and they were just like, we're going green, baby. Like, I really, really appreciate that.
Yep. No, I think that's a good point, because I was thinking the same thing. At the last one, they had a very distinct voice and style, and you could tell the images went together. And with this one, I think you can also tell all the images are by the same person. So really, really well done. Great variety, great year. So, all right, we will go on to this one. And I love the tones, the style, the energy. Like, going through these images, I think we did talk about this one in another, I think, selections maybe for Tornado. I can't remember, but this part of the portfolio, when we loved how the tornado is lurking, you don't necessarily see it. But I love like the energy in this one. This is not even necessarily, there's no like mothership, there's no lightning, there's no tornado, or maybe there is back there, I don't know. But just the drama, especially like this dust, like in this little bush poking through it, it just adds so much dimension and, like, I don't know, feeling from this one. But I just love all the different styles, the different compositions, the different, I mean, we got a rainbow here. We had like dust, tornado, epic structure. And even here, you know, this is a tough area, it looks like, to have shot. And I feel like even though there's a house and there's another house over here with a fertilizer sign on it, they made it work as best they could with putting the road in a spot that kind of flowed and feels kind of natural. So, and then I think we talked about this one too in our selections video, but just an interesting crop that works for me with the tornado not actually off-centered. So, pretty incredible year, and really nice editing, tasteful editing, and I love this person's style. So
I would say from the technical standpoint, it's one of the strongest portfolios, I think. And especially number 2.
yeah,
It's so well done with the contrast, and it's almost like the dust is touching the cloud. It's one of my favorite images from the whole contest.
yeah,
I think.
wow.
It's not just the contrast and the colors, but it's almost like the cloud is screaming at the dust, or other way around. I don't know. I love this one.
Well, and these clouds up here are so,
yeah.
You feel like the texture in them and the detail, and this little hint of blue. This part of the cloud almost looks like it's like a lion with a mouth open,
yeah,
flying down towards the ground or something. Now that I see that,
you can almost taste the dust in this one. If you know what I mean, Western Texas style storms or so, it's
yeah. It's like home for me. Not necessarily like that all the time, but the dust storms we get around here, that's probably why I love dust. People laugh at me when I say it, but I'm like, I love dust.
Every time I go to the desert, I say I'm taking pictures of dust and stones and rocks.
So true.
I love it.
Jennifer, we're on our last one here from our top 5. Give us your thoughts on this one.
Just very pleasing. And I appreciate the variety here. And that is a lot of what we're looking at. And with, photographer of the year is a variety of scenes. And this photographer has delivered that. I also really just appreciate the language of texture in this portfolio. And also just seeing a nice, consistent management of tonal range. And all of that is really beautifully communicated in these final. Oh, what a beautiful shot. Just the tones, like some of this feels quite dreamy. So, you know, and we've all seen a moment like that. That one really gives me some storm chasing happy feelings. And you know, a little guy in front of the tornado there, that's almost a little photojournalistic. And you know, so I think overall it's a strong showing for photographer of the year, and good work all the way around.
Yeah, absolutely agree. I really do like the you know, we always talk about, you know, sometimes having an element in your shot that shows scale is really cool. Well, having this little tiny person, I mean, especially nice, you know, they got a white shirt on that really makes them pop, which I think helps a lot. But putting this like tiny person next to this monster storm in the distance, it's such a great element to kind of contrast the size and scope of all this. So really, really well done. Strong stuff. It's funny because this one is so simple, but it's like, it's beautiful. I mean, I like how this is like blurry and they're kind of motion. Like it feels like it would be in the cover of like a, I don't know, some like, or not a cover, but maybe inside of a magazine, like a, I don't know, home decor. Maybe not IKEA, but just, I love it. It's so simple. I probably would never take this photo. And
that's what I love about this one too, because it's not a big storm. It's not mothership, supercell, tornado stuff. It's a developing storm, and it's different, and it adds so much to this portfolio, in my opinion.
Yep. Or if it was the day that, and it might not have been this day, it also could be a dying storm on a bust of a day. Which
maybe this one too, yeah.
There was a pretty big bust, if I remember. And
I was optimistic.
Oklahoma, yeah. And I can see that this photographer was able to take a horrible day, if it was a bust, and turn it into a photo that's really artistic and beautiful. So
yeah,
pretty remarkable. So, all right, those are our finalists for Photographer of the Year. Congratulations to all 5 of you. And oh boy, we get to decide who wins next week. And I'm not, like I've said on everything, I'm not that excited this year because there's so many good portfolios. It's really, really tough.